In the 150 years since the conclusion of the American Civil War, the conflict has captured the imagination of millions. Today, one could admire the many paintings of the war, or see the more or less mediocre films of Hollywood, and watch the reenactments of that war. But these things can never really show the real sights and sounds of a battle, and the carnage of one. One sound they can never fully portray or do justice is the legendary, bone-chilling rebel yell of the Confederate Army during that conflict. One of the first earliest descriptions of a distinctive yell among Confederate soldiers comes from the British journalist William Howard Russell in an article published in the London Times on July 10, 1861. He noted the whooping and screeching sounds that pass muster in this part of the world for cheers. Russell, who was describing soldiers on the Mississippi River, about 60 miles north of Memphis, Tennessee, slightly modified his account in My Diary North and South, written in 1863. Recalled, quote, a shrill ringing scream with a touch of the Indian war whoop in it. The first combat use of the sound, or sounds, may have been at the First Battle of Manassas on July 21, 1861. In an unsigned article also published in the London Times on January 17th of 1865, the career of the Confederate General Thomas J. Stonewall Jackson is recounted, which during the battle in the heat of the fighting against Yankee forces at Manassas, he is said to have commanded his men to, quote, give them the bayonet and when you charge, yell like furies. In a letter to his father dated September 7, 1862, Roland M. Hall of the 3rd New York Cavalry Regiment described a recent experience battling Confederates in North Carolina. Quote, it is impossible to imagine anything more repulsive than the appearance of these men. Unkempt, dirty, thin, hungry-looking, ragged, fierce, they attacked with tremendous yells lasting throughout the battle, and were met by us in silence with English coolness and defeated us with English vigor. End quote. An unassigned report in January of '65, issue of the United States Service Magazine titled, quote, Notes of the May Campaign on the James River, mentioned what it actually called the rebel yell. Quote, the shrill stream whistle was heard at intervals, a rebel ruse to make us believe their troops were arriving from the south. Then about midnight, a rifle shot or two, and then a volley rang into the clear air, followed by the dog-like rebel yell, and answered by the full-toned Union shout, pelling in our ears. Another account of the rebel yell comes from Edwin Morton Stanley of the 1st Tennessee, who participated in the Battle of Shiloh. After a steady exchange of musketry which lasted some time, we heard the order fix bayonets on the double quick in tones that thrilled us. There was a simultaneous bound forward, each soul doing his best for the emergency. The Yankees appeared inclined to await us, but at this juncture our men raised a savage yell. Thousands responded to it, and burst out into the wildest yelling it has ever been my lot to hear. It drove all sanity and order from among us. It served the double purpose of relieving pent-up feelings and transmitting encouragement along the attacking line. I rejoiced in the shouting like the rest. It reminded me that there were about 400 companies like the Dixie Grays who shared our feelings. Most of us, engrossed with the musket work, had forgotten the fact, but the wave after wave of human voices, louder than all the other battle sounds together, penetrated to every sense and stimulated our energies to the utmost. They fly! Was echoed lip to lip. It accelerated our pace, and filled us with a noble rage and anger. Then I knew the berserker passion it was. It deluded us with rapture, and transfigured each Southerner into an exulting victor. At such a moment nothing could have halted us. The place where they had stood, they had vanished. Then we caught sight of their beautiful array of tents, before which they had made their stand, after being aroused from their Sunday morning sleep and huddled into line. At hearing their pickets challenge our skirmishers, the half-dressed dead and wounded showed what a surprise our attack had been. It was all very encouraging, for the yelling and shouting were taken up by thousands. Forward! Forward! Don't give them breathing time! Was cried. We obeyed, and soon came in clear view of the Yankees, who were scornfully unconcerned at first, but seeing the leaping tide of men coming on at a tremendous pace, their front dissolved, and they fled in double-quick retreat. Again we felt the glorious joy of heroes. It carried us on, rejoicing in the spirit which recognizes nothing but the prey. We were no longer an army of soldiers, but so many schoolboys racing, in which length of legs, wind, and condition can tell. Now that you know what the rebel yell would have most likely sounded like from the descriptions and the eyewitness accounts of it during a battle, I will give you a demonstration of that yell by edited footage from both reenactment footage and recordings of actual Confederate veterans who did the yell in the early 1910s and 20s. Headphone warning before we hear it, and if you don't pay attention, not my problem, I'm sorry. And enjoy the sound of an entire brigade of Confederate soldiers screaming at the top of their lungs, and you, a Yankee soldier, probably being absolutely terrified. I hope you enjoyed that blood-curdling yell. That probably got your blood boiling up as well, ready to kill some Yankees, hopefully, and drive them back up north. Now, before we end this, I will tell you that we don't really know what it would sound like historically, no matter the eyewitness accounts or the recordings, but all we really have is the recordings, since we can actually hear the men who fought the war do those yells, but they're in their older age, so they cannot do it as how they would have probably sounded like during the actual conflict and during battle. So it's still in a way up in speculation, I would say. Leave your thoughts down in the comment section, what you think. And thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. Please like and subscribe. Share this with your friends. And if you want more of this, just let me know. And I will see you guys later. Have a wonderful day. God bless you, and goodbye.